something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister Talk. When you need someone who understands, I know what you're missing. Sister Talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk. Sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister. Ooh, sister talk.
Do you think black men are getting a bad rap in the media regarding fatherhood? Because we are hearing that, according to the statistics, that the father is absent in the household. They're not there. Do you think that you all are just getting a bad rap?
I don't think it's a bad rap. Mm-hmm. And I think there are a lot of black men out there who are not stepping up to the plate, who are not being responsible for their children. And to me, it's a step up your game type of rap. If you fit into this criteria of somebody who's not being a good father, then recognize the words that I'm saying. But if it doesn't pertain to you, then go ahead and keep doing what you're doing, keep doing a good job.
But here's my concern about the absentee father, the black man absentee. Women today, particularly black women, they're really stepping up their game for whatever reason.
They're superheroes.
They're superheroes. And I've said this before, they are packing. They're doctors, lawyers, they're boxing, martial, they're car racing. I mean, I've said this, they're having the biggest orgasms that they have never had before.
Without us. What's up with that? They found a way to achieve the orgasm, without our participation. That's something that we're working on organizing and having a real big problem, with eliminating that. We want our role back. We want at least to keep maintaining that role of giving the orgasm.
And that's a good comment. That's a really good comment. Do you think because of the imbalance of black women and black men that the black men are being left behind and women are excelling? What do you think, Sean?
It's a very complex problem, number one, because there's not the question of only a black man getting a bad rep, but in what context does that question occur? So on the one hand, yes, as you mentioned, there is a lot of fathers missing. There's a lot of fathers absent. If you look at the numbers, 2/3 of black children are now raised in a single-parent household.
Yes.
Most of these households are led by a single mom. So those numbers are out there. But what does that actually mean then in terms of, does that necessarily mean that the black fathers are absent?
Right.
So, just by doing my work, for instance, I've been photographing fathers in all kinds of circumstances for about 2 years. There's various ways that fathers are present in the child's life.
Right.
So, they might not necessarily be with their partner anymore, or on a regular basis, they might not necessarily cohabitate with their children.
Right.
But there's many men out there that are trying, in whatever way of shape or form, to be there for their children.
Ask for what you want. Ask for what you want now.
A relationship. A healthy relationship with you. Can we have that?
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Clean, completely clean.
What do you mean?
You.
That's what you're asking me for?
Because that's the only way it's gonna happen. How are we gonna have a nice, healthy relationship if you're toxic?
Toxic. Well, if there's gonna be a condition, if there's gonna be a demand, when all I've given you is unconditional love, I'm not gonna allow that.
Because either way, I'm fine. I've made peace with it.
Yeah, cool. You know what? That's how you feel. I'm gonna respect that. That's how you feel. I'm gonna respect that. But that's some bull. I love you. I'm always gonna love you. I love who I am. I'm not gonna change for anyone.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to come talk to you like a man to man.
But you tell me I won't have a relationship with you unless when I've been a great father to you. I smoked weed before you was born. I drank before you was born. Did a lot before you was born. Love is supposed to be unconditional. I will never put a condition on our love or our relationship. Never. Ever. And I guess until you get to that place, we won't have a relationship. It's sad that my son wants nothing from me. And I have so much to offer. I guess. I still love you.
I love you too.
But that doesn't fly. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
Well, I guess I'll see you at my funeral then. Mel.
Jeff, funeral?
If you're gonna put a condition on our relationship, well then I guess that's when you'll see me. Mel.
No. You don't have
What do you mean no? What is it?
You don't get to speak to me ever again. Ever.
You.
I'll take that
I just
too.
did.
You can leave.
I am gonna leave. You can leave. How about
You
that?
can leave.
You can leave.
You get to ask for what you want. You get to ask for what you want. I bow to you
Thank you.
for what you just did.
You hand me that bag right there? No? I thirsty.
Whoa. So just tell me, what do you think about that? Did you all see the whole show?
Yeah, I
Fix
did.
My,
Yeah.
So what do you, just idea, what do you think?
It's sad. You want to go, Chew?
No, go ahead.
It's sad. He's a sad,
Right.
sick, poor example of a human being.
Ooh, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah, that's very hard because here's a guy who had it all, who came up from the dirt, made something of himself, had the opportunity to be anything that he wanted to, and went right back into it, and then to drag his son into the muck and mire, along with him, with all this extra pain and this projecting of hate and shame and listen, he just needs to crawl on the rock and not have anything to do with his son, because I don't think he'll ever man up. I don't think he'll ever man up.
What do you think?
Well, I personally feel that he definitely has some deep-seated issues,
Right.
and I feel like, as far as speaking to what Art Garfield said about him, being, having all this and then having it slip through his fingers, sometimes, if you don't have the character to keep you where your gift brings you,
Right.
then you end up falling right back down. There's just no substance.
And the foundation also, because he's definitely came from a broken home
Well,
himself. Yeah.
But after a certain, you can't blame that. After a certain age, you can't blame that on how you came up, because all the information, all of just people coming and trying to help you. He's got a huge support team of folks. Now, how do you continue and perpetually maintain this "I don't want to win" attitude?
I'm not sure if what type of drugs he is.
Crack, man. It's crack.
Well, then if
That's crack. That was crack.
Then if it's crack, I can speak on that a little bit, because without putting too much out there, both of my parents, fought that demon,
Wow.
And honestly, like, sometimes people just don't come back completely from something like that. I mean, it's a very powerful drug, and I feel like, to an extent, it fries your brain, and it certain parts connected with actually realizing that people need you, or that life is not about you, get severed in the process of you using.
Okay.
I think everybody has had the opportunity, and there's
Some
no
people
disrespect.
can come back.
There's no disrespect, for your parents' experience, and you not happen to be around that. But I think we've all had the opportunity to get hooked on crack. You know what I mean?
Not me.
No,
okay?
no. You've had the opportunity.
No,
we all have
no.
the opportunity. That the idea that you don't accept that opportunity is the choice that we all have.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think that he made a choice to go back into it because he lacks you know, the winning spirit.
Okay.
And to project that onto your child who's trying to help you, at least bring you up to a level to love him. You can keep what you're doing, but come up and love me and accept me on very
But
even
you know,
ground.
sometimes it's just not there. Like I mean, if you've ever been in a relationship with a parent who just does not have that, you know, it's like throwing a ball against a pillow. It's just not going to bounce
This is
back.
it. I mean, the man is clearly not well. I mean, at some point, Yana even asked, "Are you high right now?"
And he probably wasn't.
And
He was probably fiending.
Yeah, but I mean, clearly this man is diseased.
right.
So for me, you know, I agree with everything that both of
Okay,
you
we
said,
have a phone
but,
call.
you know.
Carly, watch a Sister Talk TV show. What do you have to say quickly? We have to wrap up.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, please hurry up.
I think that DMX needs help, psychological help. I give big applause for his son, especially in this day and time, for him to have that type of moral integrity and discipline in a situation where a man is out of control and where a man brings his own hurt and pain and passes it on to his son. And conditional love has become a cliche, like what's happening, baby. Conditional love, especially in the rap world. Conditional love is fraudulent today.
Right.
Real conditional love does not mean accept me because I'm an idiot or I have issues.
Right.
You got to correct your issues today.
Right.
You got to look into yourself. It's inside of DMX. He got to meet the demons in him and work with them before he can project positive atmosphere outside.
All right, we have to go, Carly. Thank you.
Inspire those who look up to you to expect more of themselves. We know that too many young men in our community continue to make bad choices. And I have to say, growing up, I made quite a few myself. Sometimes I wrote off my own failings as just another example of the world trying to keep a black man down. I had a tendency sometimes to make excuses for me not doing the right thing. But one of the things that all of you have learned over the last 4 years is there's no longer any room for excuses. Not because racism and discrimination no longer exist. We know those are still out there. It's just that in today's hyper-connected, hyper-competitive world with millions of young people from China and India and Brazil, many of whom started with a whole lot less than all of you did, all of them entering the global workforce alongside you, nobody is going to give you anything that you have not earned. Nobody cares how tough your upbringing was. You wear the mantle of Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington and Ralph Bunche and Langston Hughes and George Washington Carver and Ralph Abernathy and Thurgood Marshall and yes, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. These men were many things to many people, and they knew full well the role that racism played in their lives. But when it came to their own accomplishments and sense of purpose, they had no time for excuses.
The speech itself wasn't bad or wrong, but the context in which it occurred was a bit disturbing because, you know, it's on the one hand, yes, you talk about, you know, inspiring yourself to be better and do better, and inspiring others around you that look up to you to be better and do better. That's fine, but this context of personal responsibility and picking yourself up by your bootstraps, presuming that you have boots, number one. That, if you look at the context of in which that speech was given, you know, it's the president going to Morehouse giving that speech to, you know, black men who are graduating from college. Is that the right context to give that speech? In other words, you know, why is it always that it's in front of a black audience that that speech is given? You know, why is it always that, you know, would he give that same speech to a white audience at a white college?
Okay, how about yourself, Damion?
Well, I mean, you know, like I agree. I'm a little on the fence because we've never had, you know, a black person in that type of leadership before.
Right.
You know, so then I feel like there would be certain people that would be angry at him if he didn't address certain things and you know, kind of act like those things don't exist within our community. I mean, yes, they exist within all cultures, but he was only addressing this one at that time. Now, I don't know of any other colleges he may have spoken to.
I have to agree with Dr. Lee. I think he was right in what he was saying, but not there. Those guys there were in the rain. They knew it was going to rain that day. And they chose to sit out in the rain to listen to President Obama speak. And for for a moment there, I felt like they were being chastised. That's how I felt.
And I know some friends of mine who sat there,
Yeah.
they were graduating.
Right.
And the speech went over well.
Right,
They didn't feel chastised, actually, but I mean, you know, they actually really responded well to the message, and overall, the vibe in the audience was, yes, we agree with a lot of what was being said about stepping up your game, about not making excuses. So the graduates understood. It's just that when the President of the United States goes to Morehouse, you know, one of the most prestigious HBCUs, to give a commencement speech to black men that graduated from college, and we all know right now in this day and age, you know, a young black male has a greater chance of going to prison and graduating from college. So these men have already transcended some of the issues that the president was speaking about. When the president speaks to that crowd, who is he really talking to?
Paula, you watch SISTAH TALK TV show. This is DIETRA. What do you have to say?
How you doing, DIETRA?
How you doing?
Good afternoon to the brothers. It's so refreshing when you see black men come together in unity. We just love that.
Okay.
But,
right on, sister.
I think, you know, watching Obama, I'm glad you showed a piece of it because I really didn't watch it when it was aired. But I learned this piece in church, that you take your portion. Sometimes you can hear people say stuff out their mouth, like in a group setting. Maybe you were with your congregation or whoever, and the leader might say something derogatory, and you get mad. But if it's not for you, you shouldn't respond to it. Just let it like go over you.
Okay,
and in other words, so with Obama, whatever he said, you know, if it didn't offend you, don't take it in. Let it go. Don't let it have its place in your spirit, getting you upset. You know, telling yourself, well, I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm doing my part. I'm taking, you know, whatever. I've learned that. Just let it go.
Let's just go into, since it's Father's Day tomorrow, I want to pretty much talk about what's the definition of fatherhood to you guys? What's the definition? What do you think fatherhood is about?
Well, you know, I'm a parent. I have 2 children. Do you fellas have children? Okay, I'll be the expert on this one. I'm a parent. I have 2 sons, age 19 and 21. And they are, I mean, I couldn't imagine life without them now. Sometimes you know, you don't want them around. But I'm glad they are.
Okay.
You know, father's very important. I mean, I'm there for them. I think being a father, fatherhood.
You're a divorcee, right?
We're getting personal now. Yes, now everybody knows
I'm sorry.
that it didn't work.
Okay, hey.
And yeah, I'm a divorcee, happily.
Okay. All right.
It's a beautiful thing. And but me and my kids, mom and I are, you know, we're still friends.
Co-parenting.
And we co-parent very well. And you know, I enjoy my, you know, my kids being around me. They've, you know, it's like you hear some people say they don't want to, you know, have the kids around and all that.
Right.
You have these absentee fathers and everything. But you know, these are my kids.
Kids, yeah.
You know. And
So you grew up with your father, right?
Oh yeah, both parents.
Yeah.
There's 7 of us. You know, same parents.
Okay, Zun Lee, we're going to get into your story a little bit. But what is your definition of fatherhood by you taking these photographs of black men and their children? So what did you know, right now at this point, what's your definition of fatherhood?
Well, I don't have a definition per se. I think, you know, as Obama just yesterday said, you know, it's the best job a man can have, and I do believe it. I'm not a father myself.
You plan on being a father?
I absolutely do. I haven't figured out the time frame, but I absolutely plan on being a father. I think it's certain values that a father represents. You know, being a provider, being a protector, being somebody that imparts good values and behaviors in the next generation of children. But in terms of how that manifests, in terms of what a father needs to do to get there, you know, there's different ways to do it, and I think we're going to talk about that today.
Damion, I know that you have had a rough life. Tell me, you know, at this point in your life, you're married also, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
Almost 2 months now.
2 months.
Very recently married.
Woo! Your wife is sitting out here supporting you.
Yes,
Oh, that's your wife right there?
Yeah.
So what's your definition? What do you see what father's about? Have you ever been in that type of role? I know when you were single or what?
Yeah, well, you know, years ago, I had the privilege of being in a relationship with a woman who had children. You know,
how many children she had?
She had 2.
2?
2 little girls. Unfortunately, one passed due to asthma. And
How old was she when she passed?
5 years old.
5 years old.
Yeah. So you know, but I think it was valuable for me, you know, as far as in my experience, because I don't think at least the one that passed away, Carlisha, she had no idea who her father was, so she looked to me to be that, you know. When she passed, you know, it was calling me dad, you know, and it was difficult because, you know, I had no example of what a father was in my life, in my own experience. So I took the things that I would have wanted to have had, and I did my best to impart them into her, like letting her know how beautiful she was, letting her know that she could do anything in the world.
So you think fatherhood is about just being there, just reinforcing a positive image or positive statements to the children?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely goes back to what Chun said. I mean, I think the ultimate example of a father is the Father in heaven, you know, like God the Father.
Okay.
You know, he provides, he protects, you know, he is there to kind of mold us, and if we listen to him, we can grow into the people who we are meant to be.
But look, I really wanted to do the show honoring black men that are projecting positive images in their community and in their lives. My father recently died. He was a hard-working man. Sometimes he worked 2 or 3 jobs just to keep his family together. When I was a child, we were having financial difficulties. My aunt in Chicago wanted to take just me and my brother, there's 9 of us, me and my brother, to live with her. My father thought about it for a moment, and he said, no, we will starve together first. And we never did. And this show is pretty much dedicated to my daddy, John Hope Alexander Kelsey Sr. I want to thank my guest, Dr. Zun Lee.
Thank you.
Garfield, Damion B. Sanders. I want to thank Zakizi Starman for the creator and the executive producer of the show. Big Rich and Drew, my main girl Jane, and thanks for Damien's wife. What's her name?
Yvonne Duncan.
Yvonne for coming here and supporting her man. This is DIETRA Kelsey, host of SISTAH Talk TV show. Tune in next Saturday at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. Just want to wish you peace, love, and light.
Power Was My Mentor, available on Amazon.com.
Sister talk, sister talk, sister talk, sister talk. Something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister talk. When you need someone who understands, I know what you're missing.